everyone, so this video is going to be my end of August updates. Alright, so I want to start with my two new acquisitions that I got at the Voss summer sale. So that one in the back is LC Mini Purple, Princess Road, and this one is Paraphalaenopsis labukensis crossed with Seidenfadenia mitrata. And this one is spiked, so if they don't blast, we should see flowers relatively soon. This is my Trichocentrum albococcineum, and I decided to put it outside in this little greenhouse because it needs warm weather, and it's supposed to be pretty warm this week, so that's why it's out here. So that is my Cattleya dormaniana, and it has two growths on it that are just starting. I'm sure I mentioned it in my last video, but they haven't been growing very fast, so still quite stumped. So this is my Phal NOID, and it's pushing out a new leaf, but it's also losing that last leaf down there. It doesn't seem like this one is doing super great, so I'm not sure how long it's going to last. I'm hoping that the new leaf will grow well and I can get a spike out of it, but it doesn't seem like this plant is very strong. This is my Aerides quinquevelnera, and it's pushing out a flower spike, so that's super exciting. This is my Aeridocentrum Gewgaw, and it turns out that thing that I thought was a spike is actually a keiki. This is my Epidendrum ciliare, and I added moss to the top to help encourage root growth because it hasn't really been pushing out roots. And so far that's been helping, so there's quite a few new roots there, which is good, and also this leaf is starting to open a bit as well. Alrighty, so these are my Paraphalaenopsis laycockii flask babies. Overall doing well, need to be watered today. I think this one and that one will need to go, but the rest are growing well. This is my Vanda tricolor seedling, and it was previously in a net pot. I had it bare root for a while. Some of the roots had died back, so I decided to put it in a plastic pot with sphagnum moss in order to encourage more root growth. And I also decided to put it in this tank as well because of the extra. This is my Thrixspermum leucarachne, and I'll insert a photo here. But one of the blooms finally opened properly, so that was very exciting to see. There's another bud below the lower left there that has potential to open up properly as well. But yeah, this still continues to push out flowers, but I've only had one really successfully open. This is my Galeandra bauerii, and it is in bud. This is my Aerangis punctata, and it has two blooms in it. I did film a bloom video for this, so that will be coming out fairly shortly. So this is my Aerides odorata alba, and it's pushing out a new leaf. Also, that little stowaway is doing pretty well, so that's good. This is my RLC little toshi, and it's pushing out that growth over there, hoping to get a bloom out of that one. This is RLC Durgan, and it's wrapping up its new growth, and I don't see any buds or sheaths inside, so I think this guy's still a little too young for that. This is my SLC World Vacation Shibuya Sunset, and it's opening up that latest growth there, hoping I can get a sheath or a bloom out of this. So this is my Phalaenopsis javanica, and this is the latest leaf. So it's a huge improvement compared to the previous leaves. It's definitely a lot bigger. This is doing well. So this is my Cattleya cross. Specifically, this is Cloecia Rebecca Northern crossed with Cattleya kleberianum, and it bloomed for me. The problem I had with this flower spike was a lot of buds blasted. I thought that maybe all of them would blast, but I was lucky to have I think there's 5 flowers there. So I think there were total 10 buds, and I lost 5. So it's like a 50% loss for this one, which is not good, but I'm happy with the 5 that I have. So I will do a bloom video for this as well. This is my LC Supersonic Striking Lip, and this is the latest growth. I don't see any signs of buds or a sheath inside, so it's not likely I'll get a bloom out of this, but fingers crossed. If not this one, hopefully the next one. So this is my Dendrobium Longhorn, and I got 2 blooms out of it. The problem is they didn't really open all the way. Kind of a problem I've been having with a few of my orchids. I do have one extra bud behind there that hasn't opened yet, so hopefully that one will open a lot more nicely. And if it does, I'll make a bloom video for that one. Other than that, the new growth is doing pretty well. Growing slowly, but it's growing. This is cornu-cervi ciliare, and it's pushing out a new leaf. The previous leaf didn't grow as big as I would have liked, but I'm hoping the new leaf will be a lot bigger. So I haven't talked about this plant in a long while, but this is my Dendrobium Sherry Abe, and it finally decided to put out a new growth. So this is my Aerangis dactyloceras, and it's pushing out a new growth on this side, so that's good. This is my Poofy Nia Ragosa, and it did bloom for me. Unfortunately, I was away when it bloomed, but I'll put the photo up that my mom sent me. I was hoping the secondary flower spike it created would bloom and I'd have something to show, but it looks like that's dying. On the other side, I do believe it's trying to put out... Yeah, I believe it's trying to put out another flower spike, so we'll see what happens. So this is my Dendrobium Longhorn, and it's pushing out another keiki at the bottom there. Actually, there's another growth near the top. I'm thinking about just taking the keiki and that growth and chucking the rest of the plant because I don't think the plant itself is doing well. And then I can pot those up and pass them on to other people. This is my Dendrobium tobaense flask. I think it's grown a little bit. I feel like it hasn't really grown too much compared to last month, but compared to when I first had it, definitely there's a lot of growth. Also, I noticed on this side, this sprung up, so there's a bunch of new babies just emerging, so that's kind of neat. Yeah, I don't think I'll take this out of the flask just yet. I'm still going to give it as much as I can. Try to get it as big as possible, especially with that new sprout that I just showed you. So this is my Polycycnus barbata, and the latest growth I showed last time kind of rotted away, so that's not good. I'm not worried about the plant though because that has happened to me before. I'm hoping now that it's in a pot as opposed to a basket that the future growth will do a lot better. This is Bulbophyllum siloacei, and that latest growth is doing really well. The leaf size is on par with this one, which was way bigger than any of the previous growth, so this one's doing good. This is my Bulbophyllum harborotinum, and there's two growths here, one there and one there. I think they're on schedule to be at least as big as this one. So this is Bulbophyllum princess bajaratana, and this one were the latest growths. I was a little bit surprised to see how big this leaf got, because it's on par with the previous growths. This one is okay too. I will say that the pseudobulb itself is not as big as the previous one, so that's that, but hopefully the next growths will be a lot. This is my Coryanthes missaceae, and it's pushing out a new growth, even though this growth hasn't fully matured yet, but it seems like this plant is doing okay. This is my Phalaenopsis subparietii, and even though that leaf hasn't fully grown yet, it seems to be pushing out another leaf. This is Phalaenopsis fimbriata, and this latest leaf is on track to grow a lot larger than the previous leaves. It's definitely a lot wider. Not quite as long yet, but I think it'll get there. So this is what I believed to be Rodriguezia lemannii, and it bloomed for me, which is great, but looking at the flowers, it doesn't look anything like lemannii. At first I thought maybe the flower hasn't opened fully, and the color hasn't developed. It's been at least a few days, and I don't see any changes, so I'm a little disappointed on that end. I do believe this is another species, and I'll put the name up on the screen as well as below what I think it is, based on the way the flower looks. I'm happy it bloomed, but I'm disappointed it's not what I wanted. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. If I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to give it away. I really wanted the lemannii because I like the shape of the flower and the fact that it was pink. And this is not pink, and the shape is totally different, so I'm not sure how to feel. I will say that the fragrance on this flower is very nice, so it's not a bad plant, but I mean, if it's not what you asked for, it's not what you asked for, so there's that. I'll do a bloom video for this anyway, because I don't think it's a bad looking flower, it's just not lemannii. Alrighty, so last but not least is my Sophronitis cernua, and it's pushing out a new growth. I am considering potting this up as opposed to mounting it. I just think I would be able to give it more moisture that way. We'll see. The problem is I'm running out of shelf space, and I have some hanging space, so maybe I'll do like a hanging pot instead of putting it on the shelf. So the last thing I want to share is not an orchid, but obviously related, and it's this tea set. I got this tea set at a thrift store for about $17. I thought this was such a good find and has orchids on it, so just wanted to share this as well. Anyway, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!